Let's pay homage to the lineage gurus. Homage to the Venerable Monk Liao Ming. Homage to Master Sakya Zheng Kong. Homage to His Holiness the 16th Karmapa. And homage to Master Dubden Dorji. Homage to the three jewels of the altar. Homage to the main deity of Homa, Manohara Vasudhara, the wealth-attracting goddess. Samu, Tansen Katso, Dubden Siddhi, Dubden Kama, all Dharma masters, Dharma lecturers, Dharma teachers, Dharma instructors, Dharma tutors, temple and center directors, and all disciples present here and over the internet. Good afternoon, everyone. How do you do?
Hola amigo, te quiero mucho. Scoin, Ichiba, Kimochi, Jumi, Yapi, Perin Perin, Konnichiwa. Hiện在通知大家。
I would like to announce for next Sunday, May 26, at 3 p.m. Thank you. We will have Manjushri Bodhisattva Homa fire offering ceremony. Manjushri Bodhisattva is holding the wisdom sword. And the lotus blossom and scripture or sutra. So in Buddhism, Manjushri Bodhisattva is an extremely incredible bodhisattva, and he's one of the 8 great bodhisattvas. And we refer to him as the most wise bodhisattva, bodhisattva with the greatest wisdom. And he's one of the 2 key figures in the Vimalakirti Sutra, which are Vimalakirti and Manjushri. And we also know that he is a transformation of the supreme King Buddha of the Naga clan. And the mudra is the same mudra as Yamantaka, because Yamantaka is the emanation of Manjushri Bodhisattva. This is the mudra. That's the mantra. Om Arapatanati. The syllable is Ti from the mantra Om Alapajanati. And the syllable can be in red, for red Manjushri or yellow for yellow Manjushri. There are two kinds.
这一尊文殊师利菩萨
So Manjushri Bodhisattva
是尊非常敬佩
is a great Bodhisattva that Grandmaster highly admire
你们
and revere.
需要有智慧的
If you don't need any
不
wisdom,
用
then you don't need to become the primary supplicant. Shh, 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 shh.
好，我们今天做这个勾柴天女
So today we perform Manohara Vasudhara
这个心咒，
and the heart mantra.
这个勾柴天女的心咒，
The heart mantra of Manohara.
好了，哈子呀，哈子呀，Om， 因菩萨，因菩萨，谢谢谢，Om Om Om， 嘿，说哈。这个哈子呀，
And Harya refers to Manohara.
谢谢谢，Om Om Om， 谢谢谢，Om Om Om。
And she, hom, hom, hom is the sound of you counting money.
数钞票的声音。数钞票的声音。
When you count your bills, that's the sound of counting your money.
尊是阿弥陀佛心中所发。
So this deity was emanated from Amitabha Buddha's
主
heart.
要的就是西方极乐世界
And most importantly,
宝行树
that in Sukhavati, the 7 jewel trees
七宝行树，
were hooked and it became
这个整个宇宙当间的这个净土最好的。
the 3 forests of the 7 jewels. So everything the best in the Saha world were all hooked to the Sukhavati or the Pure Land of Amitabha Buddha.
活佛的这个甘露池，
And also the nectar ponds were also hooked to become Mahatwin lotus ponds.
这个池底呀，铺以金上，
And the bottom of the ponds were covered by golden sand
就是八功德水，
or sands of gold.
池面上的这个莲花，
And on the 8 merit water, on the surface, there are lotus blossoms as big as the wheel cart. And above the lotus blossoms, there are Padma Kumaras of different colors, various colors.
明珠，
And from the Indra heaven, she hooked the Indra
把整个
pole net.
明珠呢就变成黄金的宫殿。
And from the pole net, it became the gold palaces.
连营而起，
And it's luminous and bright, like the Indra's pole
就
net.
是
So Sukhavati
里面所有佛教徒最向往的
is the place, the realm that all Buddhists
一个地方。
long for.
那里有音乐，叫做回
And
妙天音。
there's music there that's called the graceful and harmonious sound. And by hearing this
所
music,
有在那里的众生都会念佛，
all beings there will be mindful of the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha and cultivate the 37 aids to enlightenment. And everyone
正觉
will be practicing and will attain the right realization.
是一个庄严
So Sukhavati is magnificent and supreme and sublime and marvelous and inconceivable.
这是勾
Such a realm it is.
很多净土
And that's because Manohara using her Vajra hook to hook all the best things from all the other realms to Sukhavati. And the gold covered the ground, and from the Huayan Pure Land, she brought in trees made of 7 treasures, and Indra's pull net to build all the gold palaces. That's why Sukhavati becomes the most perfect and most beautiful and prosperous and magnificent of all the Buddha lands. So the emanation of Amitabha Buddha, Manohara Vasudhara, among all the world deities is the greatest. Typically, we say the richest ones in the heavens are the 4 heavenly kings. The richest ones in the ocean is the dragon kings. And the richest ones on earth are the mountain gods. Mountain gods are the richest on earth. And the local the richest one locally is the earth god. So that's why we can say that Manohara is the richest one, the wealthiest one. Last night I didn't tell any joke because they didn't have time. So today let me tell a few jokes. This is not me drinking, but this is the joke. Last night, Xiaoming drank some wine. And then he was stopped by the traffic officer. So Xiaoming told the police officer, is drinking alcohol to disinfect considered drunk driving? If you use alcohol to disinfect, is that drunk driving? And the police officer said, no. But where's your wound? And Xiaoming said, it's right inside my mouth. Xiaoming is too smart. A boyfriend and girlfriend. The boyfriend is too honest. The first time he's visiting the girlfriend's family, he asked her, what kind of gifts should I bring? And the girl said, just buy something pragmatic. So the boy brought 10 cans of peanut oil, 50 bags of rice, 50 kilos of flour, and 10 kilos of pork. So the girl's dad said, are you providing us with the poverty relief or something? In the past, when I visited Simu's house, I always bring some gifts every time.
我去师母的家，每一次就是一盒蛋糕啦。
Every time I visited her at her home, I would bring a box of cake.
伴手礼。
I always bring some gifts, some of food for her family every time. I never visited without anything.
带着东西去，所以你看嘛。
So,
尊也是发了功夫的。
Grandmaster did put in effort.
他妹妹有一次开玩笑跟我。
So her younger sister one time joked with me.
礼物放下就好，人就可以走了。
She said that the next time you come, just leave the gifts and then you can turn around and leave.
对。 师母对我们生活中
So, Simu has greatly helped our true Buddha school, greatly helped.
这个你们看看哪里毛病在哪里
So, check what the problem is in this joke.
小明要买房子。
Xiaoming is buying a house.
大家一个人捐1块钱。
If everybody give him $1, $1 million, 1 million people, then he would be able to buy a $1 million house.
他就可以买房子。
So he just needs $1 for 1 million from 1 million people, and then when you want to buy a house, then I can give you $1. Then everybody can buy a $1 million house.
这个话毛病在哪里？
So where's the problem now? 有一个男生呢，光着身子。 A man was naked on his terrace.
在阳台呢，把自己的衣服晾在阳台。
And sun dry his own clothes. And
抓进去了半个月。
a female neighbor called the police, and he's in prison for half a month.
这个男生出来以后，他就买了一个高
For improper, indecent exposition.
中医。
And after he got out, he's been waiting and waiting, and finally caught her naked.
他光着身子在，就是在日光浴吧。
Sunbathing.
就男生就去报警。
So the man called the police, and he's in prison again for another half month.
他变成偷窥狂。
And the reason is he's accused of a peeping Tom. So why can the woman can do it, but not the man?
这个笑话是这样子：一个老奶奶。
An elderly grandma called Uber. When he got at her destination, the driver wanted $20, and this old lady gave him $10. And the driver asked, "How come you only pay 10?" And the lady said, "But you're also in the car, so half for each of us."
这个笑话不太好笑。
This one is not that funny.
这比较黄一点。我不知道这个 SB 是什么意思。小时候，
I don't know what this is.
同桌的女孩子吵架。
When I was little, I was arguing with my classmate sitting on the same desk, and she called me SOB, SB, SOB.
不是。小时候跟同桌的女生吵架，她骂我 SB， 我非常生气。
I was very angry, and I asked her, "So why don't you curse 20 times?" And she did. And halfway, the class leader came in, and then all of a sudden I got smart and I said, "You should not curse the teacher." And she's punished to stand for 3 classes. But now I really regret it, because now I have to sleep on the sofa because of this reason. Because they got married. 有一个农民啊，牵着驴子进城。A farmer carried lead a donkey to the city and met someone. Have you eaten? And the farmer said, "Oh no, not yet." "Hey, I am talking to the donkey, not you." And the farmer said, "Slap the donkey twice. Why didn't you say anything that you have a relative in the city?" Now let's get to the main subject. A question from South Africa. 莲花永言。
师尊曾经进入深深的禅定，见无量佛都在。
Grandmaster once entered deep meditation and saw innumerable Buddhas also in deep meditation without engaging in salvaging sentient beings. Grandmaster often says that both Buddhas and Bodhisattvas consider saving sentient beings their foremost and greatest endeavor. Will Grandmaster also do this in the future, entering deep meditation and not coming out to save sentient beings? Or does it mean that those innumerable Buddhas have completed their karmic connection to save sentient beings? Or their time to save sentient beings has not yet arrived? Is there a way to resolve this? Because your disciples are extremely reluctant for Grandmaster to enter deep meditation and not coming out. Well, no, I shouldn't be. Because if you enter Nirvana, you will never get out of it. But if you don't enter Nirvana, then you are an eternal bodhisattva to deliver sentient beings. Second, Vajrasattva transformed into Vajrahat bodhisattva. And what is the appearance of Vajrahat bodhisattva? What is his color? What Dharma implements does he hold? What is his mount? And what is his heart mantra? Let me tell you. the heart of Vajrasattva is Vajraheart Bodhisattva. Or Vajraheart Bodhisattva is the heart of Vajrasattva. And his wrathful body is Vajrapani. So Vajrasattva, Vajraheart, and Vajrapani or Vajrahand are the same person. So Vajrasattva is Vajraheart and Vajrahand or Vajrapani Bodhisattva. So the union of the three or the Trinity. So the 100-syllable mantra is the Vajraheart Bodhisattvas. Om Betsa Sato Ahom Pe is the same too. That's the shortest mantra of the 100-syllable mantra of Vajrasattva. Oh, Vajraheart Bodhisattva. So Vajrasattva is the same as Vajraheart Bodhisattva. Appearance, color, Dharma implements, mount, and heart mantra are all the same. We often say Vajraheart, 100-syllable mantra, and the heart mantra. That's the heart mantra. Three. Previously, Grandmaster indicated in a dream to me or Nianhua Yongyan that he would next reincarnate in China. Can Grandmaster tell all of us how we can find your reincarnation of Grandmaster? So he regarded the Grandmaster as a reincarnated living Buddha or Tulku. So it would be living Buddha Lian Sung too. But let me tell you, 500 years later, okay? You try to find me 500. I only reincarnate every 500 years in the human world. 500 years, 500 human years. Talking about the legend of the gods. That's excellent. It's written there, a passage about called Guiling Sengmu, a Taoist priestess. The legend of the gods is the battle between the Zen Buddhism and Taoism. One belonging to Yuan Si Tianzun, the other one belonging to Tiantong. So the disciples are quite weird and strange. One is called Guiling Sengmu. And someone, the name called San Xian, holding a flower basket, walking in heaven. And Guiling Sengmu, that belongs to the Can. No. Guiling Sengmu is Taoist and the San Xian is Zen. And they were fighting each other. So the San Xian chanted a mantra and a sword flew from the flower basket to circle the head of Guiling Sengmu, and her head dropped to the ground, and she died. After she died, she transformed into a black smoke and transform into strange insects all over samsara.
就得到病，就死了好多人。
And because people were infected and many died, and because Amitabha Buddha was very compassionate and could not bear it and asked the white lotus youth, come here, take this little cloth bag, a white cloth bag, take this, go down the mountain, leave Sukhavati and go to Samsara, and then retract all the black chi of this Guiling Sungmu. So the white Padma Kumara, the white lotus youth, came to Samsara, and when the white bag was opened, it became a huge bag, and immediately all the black chi of the Guiling Sungmu was absorbed into the bag. So the white lotus youth was very happy, carrying the big white cloth bag on the way back to Sukhavati. And he felt really sleepy and drowsy, and he took a nap. And then the bag opened, and the germs flew out again and ate three levels of Sukhavati. Originally there were 12 levels, and 3 were eaten, so only 9 left. When the white lotus youth woke up, the 12 lotus births of Sukhavati became only 9. So the white lotus used the cloth bag to retract all the black chi again. And that's the reason why the white lotus youth came to Samsara. And he was punished by Amitabha Buddha. You are irresponsible. You made the 12 lotus births that were originally in Sukhavati. Now there is only 9 lotus rebirths left. That's why I reincarnate every 500 years. I was punished. The white lotus youth have to come to samsara every 500 years to suffer the suffering and disasters, and that's why. It's from the legends of the gods. And you said Grandmaster will be reincarnated in China. That Grandmaster Lu showed in the dream of Lianhua Yongyuan that he would be reincarnated in China. So could you please tell us how to find this reincarnation? I'll tell you 500 years later. That's my answer. I was telling that story, but really that story did exist. It's in the legend of the gods. It's written about it, about the white lotus youth. In the investiture of gods. Lu Xixing, the author of this legend of the gods, is a Taoist priest. So he understood a lot of Taoism.
不寻常，他这个人很不简单的。就在中
And he's extraordinary.
岛是很钦佩几个。
In China history, I highly admire Dong Fang Se.
东方社是谁？
Who is that?
是托彩蟠桃，在那个
Is the one who stole the
托彩
the divine peaches
东方社，
at the banquet of Golden Mother Primordial Fairyland,
连望上
Dong Fang Se.
天罡，
And another one is Yen Tian Gang.
炎天罡平凉，
Yen Tian Gang Ping Liang
他也是天
divination.
天上的下生人，
And he's also from the heavens that come to the human world.
一个人
And
就是邵康节，
Sao Kang Jie,
邵子艺术，他把人所有每一个人的命运，
Sao Zi Yi Su,
好多本书里面，
that he wrote the destiny of every person in a huge book.
只要
Sao
你的
Kang Jie.
年月日时，
As long as you have your
你出生的 哪一年，
birthday and time accurate, which year, which month, which day, which time, which minute, which second,
哪一分出生的，
which hour and
你
minute,
懂得记下来，
if you know
他可以讲
exactly,
你活到几岁，
then they can calculate it. He could calculate it and could list everything about you from father, mother, spouses, everything. And one more is Liu Bowen.
啊，他们就是半神人。
It's an avatar. It's half God, half
而且
human.
陆西星
They're all
也是
incredible.
半神人，
And Lu Xixing too probably is half God, half
知
human.
道
They know a
封
lot.
神榜里面还有出现一个瑶池金母，
And they even know about the daughter of Golden Mother in this investiture of the gods, Longji, Princess Longji.
这本书啊，这个我小的时候我就看过。
And I've read this book when I was little. This novel, this book, Investiture of the
水浒
Gods.
传呢
And the water margin,
水浒传当然写，
which I have read too,
另外有一本书是写
the water margins.
就是《西游记》，
And then one book that wrote about Buddhism, Journey to the West.
是很厉害。
And this person is also incredible. He really understood Buddhism,
看那个
Buddhist concepts, like those
主角唐三藏，
figures in the Journey to the West. The monk,
另外骑着白马
the Tang monk,
变化，
riding on a horse which was transformed from a dragon, and the monkey king, the precept pig, and the Sao Jing, the monk. So these 5 people performing the drama of the Journey to the West. The Tang monk represent of the greed, anger, and delusion. He represents
孙
in
悟空是代表
in ability. He's not capable of anything.
动不动就是，
And the monkey king represent anger.
这是尘，
He always beat the spirits. And the precept
贪吃
pig represents greed,
到了高
a desire
啊，就
to food and sensual pleasures and sex.
结婚留在那里，就
And
发现又好吃，
he loved to eat and he just wanted to stay with the woman. And the Sao Jing, the Mahongsa, is represent foolishness, ignorance.
另外
Also, of course, also has some
就是艺法，就
and then the horse is like our mind. It's always leaping around, moving around. So these 5 main characters represent our mind, monkey mind, like a horse heart, horse mind, and then also greed, anger, delusion, and inability. So Wu Chengren is also a great author, a great person. Wu Chengren, Lu Xixing, who wrote the Investiture of the Gods. I regard them to be half human, half God. Now we'll talk about the Vimalakirti Sutra. This analogies destroying the thieves of affliction. The nectar of Dharma is food, the flavor of liberation as broth. So what does a bodhisattva eat? Nectar. And Guru Padmasambhava eats air. The best kind of food is the air, or qi. So the air is the best kind of food. And what is the best kind of food for a bodhisattva? It's nectar. When you perform a Dharma practice, when Grandmaster is practicing, there was once that I drank the nectar. And we can say that's the cool or the cooling Buddha nature. The nectar of Dharma as food. So bodhisattvas eat nectar and Dharma. So when you're practicing Dharma, you can taste the nectar. When I perform Dharma practice in still meditation, there's a Dharma flow descending from the sky into your body and filling your whole body. So this is considered a Dharma taste, peace and ease. Please raise your hand if you felt this, that the Dharma flow entered your body. Master Lian Ci, and Reverend Lian Xu, who works in the kitchen. So you eat 2 kinds of food. You eat the worldly food and you also eat heavenly nectar. But how come you're still so skinny? But you look like a Taoist priest, but you don't look like a monk. A monk is a stoic and stocky. Rare that they're so dry and slim. Then that look more like a Taoist priest. So many people have experienced that, but they just don't want to raise their hand. As soon as you quiet down your mind and stabilize, and when you can truly enter into meditation, then the Dharma flow will enter into your body, and you will taste the sweet nectar. So Dharma flow is the sweet nectar. And the flavor of liberation as broth. You feel that your whole body has been liberated, that your body and mind has disappeared. Afflictions is gone.
就是水啊，
Broth, that's water.
法流不是水吗？
So I was saying Dharma flow. Didn't that mean water? Just like a very fresh and cooling water entering into your body
净你的全身。
to cleanse your whole body. So that's
再
bathing.
来就是静心浴于澡浴，
Purifying the mind is bathing.
跟让你在浴缸里面沐浴，把你的这个
So purifying the mind
尘土
is like bathing in the bathtub to cleanse away all the dust and dirt from your body,
全部把它
or
清除干净。
to cleanse all the rubbish inside your
这
body.
个人他是得到的就是无所谓，无所谓。
When someone has cleansed all the garbage from their body, they don't care.
我曾经讲过一句话，不要把你的
Once I said,
留在你的
don't
身体，
keep the garbage inside your
不要
body.
把这个垃圾啊全部给
You want to throw away all the garbage
全部拿，
from your heart and
无
mind,
所谓了。
and then you don't care anymore.
你老是把垃圾捡过来放在你心中干，
But if you keep keeping or taking the garbage into your
放在
inside you,
那你难过
like if someone said something
3天4
and then you keep it inside you for 3 days, 5 days, a month, and you still don't take it out, or a year you still can't take it out,
是在折磨自己。
then what are you doing? You're tormenting yourself.
人家骂你的话，
And people scold you. Just treat it as
你就出去，
in one ear, out the other.
身
Don't let it stay inside you.
所以不要怕人家批评。
So don't be afraid of criticism.
你想了半天，
If someone criticizes you and then you keep thinking over it, mulling it over and over and over, what you want to write to retaliate. If someone writes something on the media about you, then you would write several articles to rebuke. If that's how I was. Someone wrote an article, I would be really mad, and then I would write a book
反而会更
in response.
去写书。人家骂你
But
一天
treat that as an encouragement. Then you write a book.
把它消化掉，
So someone write an article and you write 10 articles. That's good because you digest it and then you throw it out.
这也是一种好处。
That means you're throwing out the garbage. So that's a benefit.
骂你，
Else you just forget it.
嘴巴上骂你，
So criticism or rebukes, whether it's written orally, right in front of you, at your back, just forget them all. Behind you,
就是
forget them all.
静心
Throw them out.
澡浴，
That's purifying the mind, is bathing. Then your heart mind is cleansed, it's clean.
放在你心中，
And if you keep the garbage inside your heart mind, if for a year, then you would be afflicted for 1 year. If you keep it for 10 years, you would be afflicted for 10 years.
有烦恼，
If you keep it for your whole life, you would be afflicted for the whole life.
真的就好。
Forget it. Forget it and you'll be fine.
重点是这个样，
That's the key point.
这个就是静心。这个浴缸啊，
So this is purifying the mind.
菩萨的静心，
So bathing,
把垃圾
showering, it represents purifying the mind of the
你身
bodhisattva.
上会发出
Cleanse it, throw them out. And precepts as perfume ointment. You would exude fragrance. Why? Because you keep the precepts. Then you would be fragrant. That's perfume ointment. Of the 8 offering items, there's one that's called the ointment incense, which is the fragrance that you naturally exude, which everybody like, because there is some fragrance around you. And why do you have this fragrance? Because you abide by the precepts. Spiritual cultivators should have a face that's light and non-seeking or aggressive, always calm and non-aggressive, non-seeking. And your body will naturally exude a fragrance that anybody nearing you would feel comfortable and at ease. Sometimes we see a lady, a woman, but emits a very fierce look. From the eyes, you can tell if she is violent or fierce. And then her behavior and actions would make people feel apprehensive and don't want to get near her. And then, or you see another face that's amiable, approachable, very kind, and it would be very easy to get along with because they are abiding by the precepts, and an ordained person would naturally exude perfume, fragrance or ointment. This is an analogy. In your spiritual cultivation, until when you reach a certain stage, then many people love to be around you or near you. Then you can start delivering many people, tens or hundreds of people. But if you're very fierce and foul-smelling monk, and really, then people will run away from you because you don't look approachable. You want to let people feel that you're very approachable and very kind and nice to be with. A bodhisattva should destroy the thieves of afflictions. All afflictions are no afflictions. That's called the transcendent power of complete outflow. When there is no more affliction. Every one of us has afflictions. How come you can have no afflictions? Because you've been liberated through spiritual cultivation. Then how can you still be afflicted? Doesn't matter what you encounter, you will not be afflicted. Because whatever affliction you encounter today will be thrown out, and then you have no more affliction. The Master can sleep anywhere. It doesn't matter which bed, and I can sleep on the Dharma seat too. Everybody's looking at me and I can still sleep.
旁边有美女，我也自然睡觉。
There's a beautiful lady next to me and I still fall asleep.
因为我心中
It doesn't matter because I have no affliction inside my heart and mind. I have no desire.
无欲啊，
I am desireless
忘了
without any desire.
财你也不求，
Wealth, I don't ask for wealth. I don't ask for sex or
你也不求
sensual pleasures. I don't ask for fame,
吃的东西，
food. Nowadays,
喜欢那个冰激凌
I only like sugar-free ice cream.
，ice cream，sugar free 的 ice cream，因为
That's all I like, sugar-free ice cream, because too much sugar is not good.
那
So
个
just sugar-free ice cream
食睡，我
and
也
sleep.
贪睡，
I don't
睡够了
carve sleeping, just enough. But anytime, anywhere, I can sleep, which means I have no affliction. If you're afflicted, you can't fall asleep.
因为你有烦恼，你才睡不着嘛。烦
And
恼什么？
so you lose sleep because you have afflictions. For me, even with thunders, I can still fall asleep.
从那个
I have two disciples from
从香港来的，
Hong Kong
那在雷门印
who are staying at the Redmond Inn,
叫的声音，他们就睡不着。
and they said that in the middle of the night, they are the sound of the insects, so they can't sleep.
有鸟
But for me, oh, they sing for me. I would fall asleep even better. And then they said there's the sound of the birds
叮叮当
That's
当
fine.
叮叮当当，
and the sound of the rain. I love
哇，好好睡，
I love hearing the sound of the rain.
听你就睡，
And then I would sleep so well
最好睡。
when I hear the sound of the rain, tititata, or the sound of the birds and the fragrance of the flowers. I would sleep even better.
然后就睡着。
When I hear the birds singing and I smell the fragrance of the flowers, I would fall asleep even better.
蛙叫，在这边哦，
Or the sound of the frogs.
很多青蛙，
There were lots of frogs in the past in the double ponds there, right here, and I could hear them when I was sleeping at the Rainbow Temple Hall.
呱呱，哇，好好睡，
I slept so well.
就睡着了。摧毁烦恼劫啊！你没有烦恼了，
So destroy the thieves of afflictions. When you have no more afflictions, that's the transcendent power of a complete outflow. Since you have no afflictions, you have no thoughts.
入定了。
And without any thoughts, it would be easy to enter meditation.
可以，
And then you can reach the fourth dhyana of the heaven of non-existence.
二禅
The first dhyana is at the realm of desire. The second and third dhyana is in the realm of form. And the fourth dhyana is in the realm of formlessness.
你摧毁了所有的烦恼，你就
When you destroy all afflictions, then you can raise the banner very high,
圣潘建道场在这里，
and that to establish the Dharma
你
site.
就变成非常的
Brave,
勇猛，
you would become very courageous
超过你
and healthy and unsurpassable.
四种魔，你那个时候能够降服自己。
And at such time, you can subdue the four maras. And what are they? The celestial mara, the mara of sickness, the mara of affliction,
还有死魔，
and the mara of death.
这个死是每一个人都会有，我们每一个人
Everyone will experience death.
在100年后，我们都不见了。100年后，没有一个人，
We will all disappear 100 years later,
包括 baby 也差不多都走，
including
都不见了。
those who are a baby now. That means it's death.
我们有
So, but how can you subdue the Mara of death and have eternal life? Because your Buddha nature is under your control. You're just changing outfit. Originally, there had never been birth and death. Now I can say every one of you has no birth and death. If you have birth and death, you are a sentient being. And Buddhas and Bodhisattvas have no birth and no death. So non-arising and non-ceasing refer to Bodhisattvas and Buddhas. So they just experience birth and death to show impermanence. In the future, when Grandmaster dies, that shows that is impermanence in the Saha world. But inherently, there is no birth and death. So, because the Buddha nature manifests and changing a house or a shell, so you're moving to a different house, or just like changing clothes. That's what death is about. That inherently there is no birth and no death. So we are not afraid of death. Death is not scary. So the Maras of death, Mara of illness, Mara of affliction, and the celestial Mara. Illnesses are the most bothersome when illnesses appear. But befriend them. Befriend your illness. Be together with it. It's not that Grandmaster has no illnesses, but I can transform them. Like the protein urine, 3,000. Wow, that's shocking. But now, when I checked it again, Dr. Liao gave me a kind of medicine. It became 500 from 3,000. And recently, from my checkup, it decreased to 200. And then, if I check again and it becomes 100, that would be normal. One time, my family doctor called me, Grandmaster Lu, go to the emergency right now, that evening. And I didn't go. I didn't want to go. I sleep so well at home. And you're asking me to go to the emergency at midnight? Because he found high potassium in my blood. Hyperalkalemia. It was above 5.1. But I didn't go. And then when I got to check again, he found my potassium 7 point something, which was above the range. And then they said there would be 8 kinds of symptoms. Diarrhea, you faint suddenly if you have hyperalkalemia, and numbness in the hands and feet, like 8 different symptoms. Or faint suddenly, and the worst is you would die. Death. But I'm not afraid of death. Why would I be afraid of hyperkalemia? I'm not even. It's just changing clothes. I'm 80 already. It's no big deal if I die. It's fine. I had to go to the emergency? No way. I didn't go. And then 3 days later, he called again. Did you go to the emergency? No. Well, then come in to the clinic. And I went and had another test. And the test was normal.
不合格的就变成合格了。
So the abnormal one became normal. Even when it was abnormal, it's no big deal because we are not afraid of death and birth. Death, selamat. Selamat sounded like, are you dead? Selamat pagi, selamat malam. So death is fine. Then I don't have to work so hard giving Dhamma teaching every Saturdays and Monday and Sundays, and I don't even get anything. And look at all those people giving a speech, and they earn millions of dollars. But for Grandmaster, the lowest one, Yanzi, just give me $200 for one ceremony, one session. $200. It's not enough to wipe your behind. Now they increase it a little bit. So talking about death, and you have to subdue the 4 kinds of malas. You're not afraid of death. Then what else would you fear? My body is very interesting. According to Western medicine, if you have protein in urine reaching 3,000, how could it reach? How can it become normal? And the urologist told me that just maintain it, don't increase it, just maintain it. But for me, I decrease it back to normal. So Dr. Liao had been very helpful to me. Now it's 200. And if I get another test, maybe it will be normal again. And I didn't take any medicine for the hyperkalemia, just to let the kidneys rest for a few days. Okay. And then another test and it's back to normal. So don't be afraid of death. It's okay even if you die. And then the celestial Mara. When you cultivate spiritually, you encounter some obstacles and challenges, but it's okay. It's no big deal. So you subdue the 4 maras, the Mara of death, Mara of afflictions, I've talked about it, Mara of illnesses, I've talked about that, that's fine too, and the Mara of death and the celestial Mara. It's okay, they all. Someone asked a question. Why all spiritual leaders, when they're old, they had to suffer from the Mara of illness? Why? Several spiritual leaders had to be severely ill, like Kalu Rinpoche. Half of his life was suffering from illnesses. And for Grandmaster Lu, the first half, I didn't know anything about illness at all, but the last half, of course, there are illnesses too. But there's nothing to fear. The Mara of illness, they can be subdued naturally. So someone asks, why the spiritual leaders have to suffer illnesses toward the end of their life? Because they have to manifest or to show impermanence to sentient beings, that they're the same as sentient beings. They need to associate with them, that they're the same with them, although they are a spiritual leader or high adept someone with high attainments, they still have to suffer from illnesses. Because that's part of the aging. Naturally, the physical body will be ill. But you're not held in bondage by the illnesses. When illness appear on me, of course, I don't like it. Simu is also ill, but she's a lot stronger than I am. And that's admirable. Obviously, she's ill, but she's still very strong. And this is something I should learn from her. She's fearless. Although she's sick. So this is subduing the 4 kinds of maras. Once you subdue the 4 kinds of maras, the bodhisattvas raise their victory banner and establish the Dharma site to let sentient beings learn. That's what Vimalakirti said. So don't be afraid when you're ill. Then you need to subdue the 4 kinds: celestial mara, mara of afflictions, mara of illnesses, mara of death. The 4 kinds of maras. Once you eradicate afflictions and befriend your illnesses, even the celestial mara has Buddha nature. They are there to test us. Since you know the celestial mara is testing us, you don't need to fight it. You don't need to fight it. You just want to be more diligent in your spiritual cultivation. Then the celestial mara will disappear. So the more you're being tested, the more diligent you should be, then you will win. You will subdue it. Master Lien Teng, our Master Lien Teng, he got lung cancer. Lung cancer. When he was suffering in the hospital with tubes and IVs, and during such a time, he was still seated in a lotus position, with lotus position, meditating. So even with tubes all over his body, and it was shocking the whole doctors and nurses in the hospital that this patient was about to lose his life, severely ill with IVs and everything, and he was still meditating. And then the Cizunzer of the Tzu Foundation, he saw Master Lien Teng appeared with bright radiance around him. He's a great bodhisattva. So Cizunzer, someone from the Tzu Foundation, said that Master Lien Teng could have such an attainment to become such a great bodhisattva. So Master Lien Teng appeared to this person, 慈尊者 from the Tzu Chi Foundation.
将来我们都可以显现啊，战胜世魔。
So in the future too, we can appear that way.
翻呐，立起来。
So once you win over the four Maras, you hoist the victory banner and establish the Dharma site. That's all for today. Om Mani Padme Hum.
法王圣尊言